Conversation between comrades. We got a good one today, y'all. It's coming up right after this. Let me get my intro loaded. But yeah, I got a treat tonight.
Got conversations about life, got conversations about death, got conversations about building a nation, about gaining knowledge of self. Not here to deceive ya, we'll make you a believer. Come build a nation with conversation, with prophecy and a T-bar. Conversations between comrades.
Welcome to Conversations Between Comrades. I'm your host, Brother Prophecy, aka J-Rock. And let me try to get this music stopped playing, man. I'm trying to be all fancy and cool and have music playing while y'all wait. And I don't know how to get the music stopped. But as y'all probably heard, if you've been looking at the advertisement, it's not just gonna be me. Unfortunately, Comrade Atiba still does not have a phone, and we still working on getting his stuff situated. But we do have a special guest today. You know what I'm saying? I got a comrade who, and I'm gonna let him introduce everything that he does. But let's just say that this brother is a brother that I have ever since I've become aware of this brother. I have followed this brother, and I've learned much from this brother. He is an expert on the science of struggle, y'all. You know what I'm saying? He be breaking it down from a scientific level. And if you listen to this show, this is all what we're about. We're about trying to free the land, and not just doing it off of emotionalism, not just doing it off of your belief and your perspective. We take a scientific approach to struggle, to freeing the land, to gaining our national liberation. And this brother is all about that. So I want to introduce to some, and well, anyway, this brother goes by the name of Haribu. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, big bro. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm so excited about having you on the broadcast tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But get into. I know we're gonna get into a lot of critical analysis and all of that good stuff, because I know how you do. But before we do that, to the people out there, just introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are.
My name is Abdul Ogbala Shakur.
Okay.
I grew up in the struggle. I grew up in the Panther Party as a cub. I came to prison when I was 17. I'm 60 now. Young sister was raped by some white sailors, and I retaliated against that. I didn't get the bastards that did it, but I got some other sailors. I've been in prison for 40 years. I spent almost 33 years in solitary confinement.
Wow. Damn. That's so you're a real deal political prisoner. You went to prison for committing a act of retribution, a revolutionary act against the people who have attacked our people. So that's what's up, comrade. Man, I already had all that respect for you. Now it just don't group, man. You like a legend to me, comrade.
Yeah. The thing is, like I tell people too, that the revolution don't stop at the prison gate. We continue that armed struggle while in prison. That's one reason I'm still in prison now. I caught a life in prison too, on a Nazi. So they gave me a life sentence on that. So Again, I tell people, you know, the struggle don't stop at the prison gate. You know, it continue. In fact, the prison is magnified tenfold. You know, and the prison does slave complex is just a direct manifestation of living in a fascist state. The battle don't stop at the prison gate. You know, and it's not gonna never stop. We continue to fight and do what is required to liberate our people and liberate the land. You know.
Definitely, definitely. I'm glad you said that because last Thursday, matter of fact, for those in the audience who was expecting a show last Thursday, we actually didn't broadcast last Thursday because me and a couple of other comrades went to Northwest Correctional Complex, one of like the worst prisons in Tennessee, and we were honored to speak with the comrades who locked up in that facility. And we did a Kwanzaa program for them, and we had an outstanding time, comrade. I mean, you know, it's like I told the brothers in the camp, you know, I do a lot of speaking engagements. I've talked to college students and all of that, but it was like the type of interaction and engagement and a level of awareness from these brothers who locked down with ways of past a lot of the engagement and conversations that I've had with brothers and sisters in college. You know what I'm saying? And I was always saying that some of our most brilliant, intelligent minds and strongest soldiers are locked down in a penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, to brothers, because it's brothers like you who was at their facilities, and brothers who, you know what I'm saying, who, even if you got life and they telling you ain't never coming out, but you still find the strength and the energy to say, you know, talk to the brothers who coming in and say, look, man, you can change your mindset. Give them that knowledge, give them books, give them that ideology and philosophy, and transform that criminalistic mentality to a revolutionary mentality. And so the brothers who do get out, you know what I'm saying, they can start building up and creating that army outside the wall. So to all the brothers in the wall who doing what you do, I want to say thank you, brother. Thank you sincerely. I do not get enough.
One thing I do, I explain to people that when I wake up in the morning, I don't wake up in the prison cell. I wake up in the classroom. I wake up in my laboratory. I wake up in my gym. I make this space what I need to make it so I can continue to serve the revolution, right? When you wake up in this and thinking this is a cell, your mind gonna stay caged and trapped. But you make this space what you wanted to make it to be, right? I say, this is my science, this is my lab, this is my school. So I do everything to develop myself so I can be a better revolutionary for my people. So when I do wake up, it's just like me going to work. It's like me going to struggle. I'm not limited by these physical restrictions and limitations because my mind, my mentality, my spirit, my soul have transcended the concrete constraints. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we think the way we think. We are free, we're liberated, you know? And remember this here, the prison system have produced Malcolm X, Bunchy Carter, Comrade George, Elder Cleveland. So when you're in this environment, like when we was in solitary confinement and isolation, we created a think tank where we constantly analyze and think and debate and discussion. So that enhanced our understanding and comprehension of the complex dynamics of the signs of struggle. Because I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, big bro. So we're constantly studying, constantly analyzing. Like, for example, like Blood Myers with Comrade George. We used to read a sentence at a time. It took us almost 2 years to read that book. We read a sentence, and then we debate and talk about the sentence and break it down. The next day, we have to give our own presentation to the sentence. Then we read a paragraph, and we go paragraph, sentence by sentence. And it took almost 2 years to read. And we used to do all books like that because it's about having a concrete understanding opposed to a superficial understanding. And when I try to explain to people, the difference is this. I can say, well, I understand that smoking cigarettes is bad for me, but I'm still smoking cigarettes. We say you don't understand that because if you understood it, you'd be stopping now because you know 30 years from now your lungs gonna be all tore up, you're gonna be dying, and then you'll be crying for another transplant or something. Nah, if you really understand it, you're gonna make the decision at that point in time. You understand it. That's why we speak about having a practical application of understanding and not a superficial understanding. When you have a practical application, that understanding is reflected through your actions and deeds. So you can look at a person and say, okay, I know he or she understands it, because their actions and deeds reflect that, you know. So when you're in this isolated environment, it increases your understanding because it increases your study and analyzations of the particulars, you know. I think you whining, my brother.
No doubt. I gotta admit, comrade, you know what I'm saying? I don't really care about celebrities and athletes and all those type of stuff. But right now I'm feeling a little starstruck. You know what I'm saying? Because like I admire so many, brothers who do exactly what you do, and you know what I'm saying, and brothers who man, been through what you've been through. And I mean, your resume alone, you know what I'm saying? Because like brothers like you are the ones who brought me into the struggle. You know what I'm saying? Brothers who were involved in the struggles in the '60s and went to prison because of their political activity, and then they got out and they can continue to build and educate and create sales and organizations. So I'm a product of a brother like yourself. Again, like I said, I'm kind of starstruck, man. You know, like,
I think that kind of represents. Here's the thing: we had a dialogue last night because we have a radio show that come on every Sunday called George Jackson Radio, right? And we had a dialogue. We had a dialogue on political prison POWs, right? And one of the things I used to have a discussion with individuals within Jericho. Like I said, the revolution don't stop at the prison gate. So if you have brothers and sisters who join the struggle while in prison, and they are being persecuted as a direct result of their political activities, they are political prisoners. And you have those who join the armed struggle while in prison, and they are persecuted and put in isolation. They are POWs. They don't stop at the prison gate. It's like, well, okay, we had a discussion years ago, right? And a lot of people on the streets got upset, but those like Mami Abu Jamal, they didn't get upset because they understood what I meant, right? We had a newsletter back in the days that was created by the sister comrade Sophia Bakari, right? It's called New African Political Prisoner POW. And you had to be like, you have a committee of BLA, Panthers members, and they will select if you approve to be a part of the newsletter, the mailing list. And they wouldn't include Rochelle McGee. So I asked the sister, why Rochelle McGee? They said, well, he didn't come to prison for political beliefs. I said, Comrade George didn't either. Van Gogh didn't either. So why is there a difference in that? Because Rochelle fought side by side with George. He was the legal mind in the revolution struggle at that time. He created guerrilla law. He was representing all the political prisoners and POW revolutionary in prison at that time in the 60s and 70s. And he was being persecuted as a direct result. Why he's not a political prisoner? When you create this elitism, you undermine the whole process. And like I was saying last night, you have a lot of good brothers and sisters in these prisons that's fighting for our people, sacrificing for our people, but they're being dismissed and ignored because they ain't got the logo brand on them, maybe the Panthers, BLA, whatever, right? And that's backwards. If you go to any other country, if like Ireland, you go to prison as a thug criminal and you're transformed to a revolutionary and you sacrifice your life and to serve that revolution, you become a political prisoner. Why here is the only way, and we let other people define that for us, right? So we have that discussion, right? And that thing is why it's important for people to pay attention to what's happening here, like in Alabama, right? You got brothers in Alabama sacrificing their life, fighting on the front line, but they don't have. I talked to one of the brothers the other day, and he explained to me it's 200 people in the dormitory with 5 pigs. And people just dying natural causes because they create an environment to facilitate that process, right? But our people's not responding. And these are brothers and sisters that's fighting. They ain't looking for no recognition. They ain't trying to be no celebrity, but they're revolutionaries. They're New African revolutionaries, citizens of the Republic of New Africa, fighting to serve other people, fighting on this battlefield. And they're not being recognized for that, And that's a damn shame because these brothers and sisters doing something because they're in prison doesn't change the signs and the principles of what they're fighting for,
No, exactly. That's a really good point. So basically what you're saying is as long as once you become politically aware and make that conscious decision to give your life and your energy to the liberation of New African people, once your ideology is aligned, it doesn't necessarily matter what you came to prison for. You at that point become a political prisoner, especially if you are doing activity that is getting you persecuted while you're inside.
And you look at any other country, that same principle apply. Even the United Nations recognize a lot of these brothers and sisters as political prisoners. If you come to prison and you become a citizen of the Republic of New Africa, a member of the New African Independence Movement, and you're fighting for the liberation of our land, the battle is also in here. Because the same fascist forces that you fighting out there also exist in here and magnified tenfold. The prison industrial slave complex is a direct manifestation of global fascism.
Yes.
It don't stop at the prison gate. So when you come in and you join the movement and you pledge your allegiance to this movement, to our nation, and you're fighting in the service of the nation, and you're being persecuted as the direct result of that, you are a political prisoner. If you're part of the armed struggle in here, you are a POW. Can't get around that. And I was, check this out, because Elaine Brown, we had a discussion because she knew I was going after that book she wrote, A Taste of Power, right? When she said, well, you had all these guerrilla groups popping up after the death of George. And I said, you know you're wrong, right? That's crap. Because all you got to do is read George writing. All you got to do is read George writing. When George wrote in Blood in My Eyes and Soledad Brothers, he said what? I then met the black guerrillas. W. Nolan, William Christmas, Tony Gibson. He himself telling you the black guerrillas exist. When George and James Clark started the Wolf Pack eventually became the Black Family. W. Nolan was part of the black guerrillas. These individuals existed even when George was a thug. Because the first 5-6 years, Comrade George was a wolf pack. They was knocking folks out and taking shit from them. Had nothing to do with the revolutionary struggle. But George became conscious because of these brothers like W. Nolan, Death Row Jeff, Ulysses Daniels. You know, like Bunchy Carter. They just like Bunchy Carter. He went in as the leader of the Slawsons and came out as a revolutionary. You know, but no one questioned Comrade George's political prisoner status. He became a political revolutionary while in prison. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, I had to get Elaine about that, you know, because what she wrote is not true. You know, and I ain't got no problem correcting shit that's not true, because that's not true, right? George fought that same battle. When George went to the hole, he went to the hole for taking out a racist. He was engaged in that same battle, you know? So the thing is, man, this is where it comes with historical materialism. Historical materialism is a scientific tool. And the reason why understanding the science is important, because it helps us make clear and correct decisions. When you have a brother or sister saying, well, I'm a Marxist, I'm a Lenin, I'm a Maoism. And I say, okay, Maoism didn't work for Mao. Marxism didn't work for Marxism. Why in the hell would you import a foreign ideology and impose it on condition that was totally different? If you understand the science, when you say concrete analysis of concrete condition, that means from those conditions came this ideology. China's not our situation here. Russia's not our situation here. So why would you import those ideology from this Eurocentric perspective and impose on our situation here? It didn't work for Russia. China's one of the most capitalist, imperialist country in the world. So why would I take a failed ideology, and bring it over here as if we don't have that? We have founding fathers like Davy Walker, Martin Delany, Demar Vesey, Nat Turner, understand me, Tunis Camel, that was fighting for new African independence in this country. Those are founding fathers. That's our historical reality. Understand me? We use their blueprint because their blueprint is rooted in our ideological struggle right here in the country. And if you look at back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, we had a lot of ancestors who built their own little town. Successful. Built their own towns, had their own communities, owned everything in the community. It wasn't based on Marxists. It wasn't based on Lenin and Maoism. It was based on our ancestors. It was based on the Davy Walkers and the Martin Delaney's and Demar Vesey, who was fighting for land back in the 1700s. It's based on that ideological development. And that's why I say the science is important in that aspect, because if you utilize the science of dialectical materialism, historical materialism, if you utilize that science, it'll give you a more concrete understanding of what we have to do. When you remove it, a lot of people, like I said, when you get a brother and sister that embrace Mao, they ain't doing it from a concrete standpoint. Because even when you study Mao, Mao himself said you can't import ideology. Mao himself criticized those students that came from these other countries pushing that European ideology. Mao himself is telling you this. So why would you turn around and take Maoism and bring it over here when it don't apply, when we have our own founding fathers who create our ideological development, fighting for land? It's right here in this country. We don't need to go to another country as if we're not capable of developing our own ideology. And it's right there. So that's what I mean by having that science.
Yeah, make sure I'm clear with what you're saying is, so it's like you're saying it, like in order for us to progress with our own struggle, we have to examine our own situation, our own reality, the concrete things, the existence that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And we have to develop that ideology around those things that affect us, opposing to just cut and paste on what somebody else did. I mean, it's one thing to see what someone done and see what's successful up there and see if it is applicable to your situation. But you don't necessarily just go and take something else from somewhere else and just put it on your situation thinking it's going to work out, because your concrete reality is not necessarily the same as theirs. Your situation is not the same as theirs. You know what I'm saying?
Now, the conditions we dealing with, this fascist imperialist state we dealing with, is more advanced than anywhere in the world. Mao didn't see this. Lenin didn't see this. Marxists didn't see this. Even Comrade George didn't see this. Their actions is based on the analysis of the condition that exists at that time. At that time, George, just like when Comrade George said you can buy a 10-cent bullet and knock down one of them helicopters. Not no more. No. You ain't dropping a helicopter no more with a 10-cent bullet. But at that time, those were the concrete reality. It was possible then. It was applicable then. And just like when I speak about the Republic of Nnu Aforaka, right? You gotta remember, back in the 60s, there's a reason why they picked the 5 states, those black belt states. A lot of our ancestors invested a lot of blood and work in those 5 states, right? Now let's look at it from a strategical standpoint. We have evolved since then. Well, we're saying we need more than them 5 states. And this is the reason why we're saying this. The 5 states, you'll be isolated, you're surrounded in front and then behind you where the water's at. You can't defend that. It wouldn't even last. 2, you cannot exist within the same belly of the beast. He's not going to allow you to exist. He's not going to give you the military equipment to defend yourself and smash his ass. That's a fact, not an illusion. We have to smash his ass first and establish our republic. You know what I'm saying? And it got to go beyond, because of, if you look at it's evolved. Remember, during the 60s and 50s, when his ideas began to evolve and began to reach their manifestation, like the late 60s, it's based on the condition that exists at that time. It's no different than Marcus Garvey. Trying to go back to Africa now is not realistic. We cannot go back to Africa in mass. At that time, it was possible, Liberia. Now it's not. But that's the scientific process of understanding the conditions. The condition that exists now in Africa is not the same condition that exists back then. When the Republic of Nnu Aforaka was being developed at that time in terms of the concept and theories, right? It was based on the concrete analysis at that time. We saying we want more than them 5 states. We earn more than them 5 states. But from a strategical standpoint, we need more than them 5 states. So we can't be in circle. So we have to watch our flank. You know, because what kind of nation will it be when you're really not independent? What it is the imperialist body have put you in a little box. Okay, we'll give you that little box right there. What you gonna do? We control down to all the resources. We're not gonna give you no military base. We're not gonna give you no navy. So when you gonna build that? What I'm saying is, in order, can it be done? You goddamn right it can be done. But it gotta be done in stages. All we can do right now is govern our community. Show that government is possible. Right now, they have no example of self-government. The same issues that we're going to deal with as a nation, we're dealing with right now as a community. If you can't resolve those issues that exist in our community, you can get the nation out your head. In order to build a nation, you have to have a blueprint. You have to have a power base. The community is our power base. The community must be established as an independent state before we build and evolve. What we can do is leave that blueprint for the future generation. So is it possible? You're damn right it's possible. But they need a blueprint. They need a foundation to build from. Our community is the foundation. We have to liberate our community. We have to create our own institutions. We have to serve and govern our community. If you can't govern our community, you can get the nation stuff out your head. That comes
so like basically, if I'm hearing you, and I'm just kind of putting my own little spin on it, but like that's the reason why we say we're engaged in a protracted struggle. It ain't something we just trying to do overnight. You know what I'm saying? It's like at this particular stage of the development, this is what we should be did. And I think you did an excellent job of laying that out, because a lot of time people get this thing about we got to get these 5 states, and it seems like it's an overwhelming thing. And it seems like it's overwhelming because the conditions are not set for it right now at this particular time. And that's like I always talk about. I'd be like, right now, we need to be into developing community, controlling those names that are within reach right now. And you basically you did a outstanding job of articulating how right now we need to show an example of how we can self-govern ourselves with the things that we can govern, so the next generation can have something that they can build upon and grow, because that's how protracted struggle work. You know what I'm saying? It ain't, you know, we work over a long period of time and we approach things on a scientific level. You know what I'm saying? Because we know, okay, this is that's where we were in the 60s. This is where we are now. You know what I'm saying? In 50 years from now, we're gonna be in a different stage, and it'll be up to the youth to, you know, carry us on into the future to ultimately we'll gain that liberation. And I know you're right. I know you're right about this, because I'm just looking at how the conversation of reparations have developed. Because I know when I was young, you couldn't even say reparations, man. What the fuck you talking about, reparations? You know what I'm saying? Now it's in the mainstream discussion. You know what I'm saying? It ain't from the point of view of talking about land, but it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like conditions are slowly changing. You know what I'm saying? And 10 years from now, you know what I'm saying, the conversation about reparations gonna be totally different. You know what I'm saying? That's why we gotta make sure that we have those put into those, make sure we influence those quantitative changes so we can guide that qualitative leap, and it'll be where we want it to be. You know what I'm saying? Just let it go, and you know, because it's gonna go regardless if we do something about it or not. But we got to make sure that we are doing taking the necessary steps to guide it to where we want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. See, and then I was having a dialogue with some of these new Panthers, right? And I was explaining to them about you prep the community for battle, you prep the community for success, you prep the community for nation building. You have to do that, right? And I explained to them, well, okay, you marching, you got all the guns, all that look good, right? But I said, have you ever read or studied the Insurrections Act? They said, we read it. And you know, when you study the Insurrections Act, it advanced and evolved as conditions evolve. When they first developed the Insurrections Act, there was no drones at that time. The technology is not where they're at now. So I was explaining to the brother, I said, okay, one of the things they would do, and they say this in the Insurrection Act, they will isolate the communities involved, right? So is the community prepared for that? Do they have their own food source, their own water source? So I said, okay, another thing they would do, they would cut off the power. In that whole entire community, they would cut off the power. Do we as a revolution have a power source to respond to that? They'll cut off the water. Where's our water source? Now, when these things take place, who do you think the people are gonna go against? You, not the government. You, because you didn't prepare for this. Cut off our water, cut off our power. What do? We can't take it on them. You did not prepare for this stage. Then I explained to them that the government got this other response. Once they see the insurrection taking place, they put a strong laxative and tranquilizer in our water. We ain't got a clue. Our people drinking the water. And when the people when they do invade, the majority of our people are gonna be shitting and sleeping on themselves. Because they didn't have a clue that this stuff was being pumped in the water, because there was no other water source. And all these freedom fighters and struggles revolutionists have not prepared people for that. We should have our own controlled water source in the community, both visible and invisible. Because if they can see it, them drones are going to target it and knock them down. They're going to knock down all our food sources. That's war. So I'm saying, if you're serious about that, then you better think about that. Don't talk all that shit and you don't prepare the people. Because every time we do this, the people turn against us. Every single time we take that blow. They get tired of listening to us. We have to create and prep that community for nation building. The same thing we will have in the nation, we must have in that community. We must have our own land, our own source of food, our own source of water. We must own every home in that community, every business in that community, establish our own schools, our medical facility, just as if we have that nation. It must exist in that community. Complete control. Because now you're laying out the blueprint for the future generation, but not only that, you're showing the people that we can govern. Because you say, well, I'm this and I'm that. Well, what you doing for me? What are you doing for me as my government? What are you doing for me as my nation, as my party? At least them clowns are providing some type of assistance, even though we know it's a bullshit trap. But what are we providing people? And that's on us. Just like when you look at the New Africa, right? Just let me say this. Just like when you look at the sisters, Mama Sam, Mama Ayo, they doing everything they can. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of dudes within that goddamn government need to sit their ass down because they're old and toe up. And they're only holding the struggle back. Because these comrades is doing what they can. These sisters are doing what they can to rebuild. You know what I'm saying? And you serious about the Republic of New Africa, and you serious about building. If you're no longer capable, you need to sit your old decrepit ass down then. If you only become an obstacle, it's bigger than you. If you can no longer contribute towards building a nation, then you must make the decision to sit your ass down. Because it's bigger than you. You can't continue to sit in the seat just to keep it warm. What are you contributing towards building this nation? What are you contributing towards reorganizing what needs to be reorganized so we can move forward as a nation? What are you doing? You know, and I'm saying, just like right now, you have people throughout this country that have never heard of the Republic of New Africa, have never heard of the New African Independence Movement. That's on us. That's on us. Our inability to reach the people and educate the people about what we're trying to build. That's on us. And if we're serious about this, we're getting our ass mopped up right now. You know, and again, there's a science in the struggle. You know, check this out. One thing I explain to people, right? Like all my books, I've written all my books probably 20, 30 different times because I constantly apply the science. I wrote a book back in 84. And then in 92, I said, damn, I was wrong. It didn't, that was wrong. But my analysis was based on the condition that exists in 84. So I had to come back and say, damn, man, I got to correct this because it was wrong back then. That's all I had, all I knew at that time. So as my science evolved, my analysis understanding has evolved. Then I realized that, damn, I wasn't right at all when I wrote that. So I rewrite it. I always constantly rewrite my stuff because you know stuff now that you didn't know yesterday. And we know this for a fact. What was true 10 years ago can be untrue today. So you have to make that scientific adjustment. You know, that's why when I write this post, when I say chess players always think before they move, checker players move without thinking. And we as a people oftentimes take a checkerboard to a chess game. And then we wonder why the UN perspective is whooping our ass. We'll take a checkerboard to a chess game, and they're 20 years ahead of us, and we think about what's gonna happen tomorrow.
Yeah, comrade. I mean, one thing I always say is, we too busy playing checkers in a chess game, and whenever you play checkers in a chess game, you end up being a pawn in somebody else's chess game. You know what I'm saying? Because like literally. You know what I'm saying? Literally, you know, I look at it like we got to be thinking at least 5 steps ahead, because that's how you do in chess. You got to think like the things that you're doing. And I know you talked about, you was talking about, you used the example of providing groceries to the people. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. It's a good thing to do. But ultimately, we need institutions. We need our own supermarkets. We need all of these type of things. And I always look at it, you know, like even with this whole novel thing that I created, it was never just to be something we can talk to people with, you know, get a tool of propaganda. That's important, but it wasn't for that. This is a tool to get like minds together and start building institutions. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the goals. You know what I'm saying? At this particular stage of development. So I'm with you 100%, comrade, because I'm like literally seeing a lot, and it's real refreshing because you're saying a lot of things that I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying? You're saying it just in a better way.
Hey, comrade, when you use this, check it out. It's like science. It's a lot of times something's far away, so you get your telescope and you bring it closer. And once you bring it closer, you get your microscope and magnify that, dissect it. Now you have a better understanding. Because at first you couldn't see it because it's way down there. That's what the science does. Just like when you look at, when you go to school, they tell you dissect this frog. They tell you to do it for a reason. Because when you just look at the internal part of the frog, that's a superficial understanding. That's a frog with a long tongue, eat, flying, and hopping is green. But then when you open it up, you understand his function. The liver, the lungs, how they connect each other. Same way with social, political, economic issues. You take that political issue, instead of just looking at the surface of it, you dissect, you open it up. Say, damn, okay. But again, a lot of time, comrade, a lot of these brothers in the struggle do not have the political maturity to accept constructive criticism, and they make it about their emotions. see things through a subjective standpoint opposed to an objective standpoint. And I tell comrades every time like this here, once I'm no longer qualified to serve, then I'll pull back, and whoever's more qualified, I'm going to help and aid and assist you. Because it's not about the position. It's about success in terms of serving our people and building our nation, period. You know what I'm saying? And whoever's the most qualified person that's there, get there. I'm going to help you get there. You see what I'm saying? But again, now you got brothers call themselves Akbar. You got brothers call themselves all these names. But wait a minute, you a general? How did you put him a general? You was never a lieutenant. You was never a soldier. How did you get that position? What have you accomplished? You know what I'm saying? And the thing that do burn me is, I'm not gonna lie, the thing that do burn me, and when you post something on Facebook and then you get somebody in the comment, man, man, shit your ass. You know, I be wondering, but I hold myself, I don't want to be doing all that public stuff, right? I say, fool, if one brother say something, I told one brother say something, I told bro, check that, go to the inbox me. Let me show you something, right? Because he was saying, what have you done, right? So I said, go to the inbox. So I sent him some shit, right? Then he turned and said, oh, I wasn't talking about you, man. I said, yes, you was. Yes, you was. Don't run your goddamn mouth, dude. Because you ain't spilled no blood in service of the people. Shut the hell up. You ain't shed no blood. You know what I'm saying? What have you been tested? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of times this fake ass machoism crap. Like I told the brother, I'm not trying to be hard. You don't need to be hard around me, man. Just be yourself. Being hard don't mean nothing. It ain't nothing to do with the struggle. It's the love that you have for your people. It's the love that you have for your people. That's the struggle. That's the motivation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that love going to motivate you to do the things that you need to do to protect and defend your people. You know? And this is the thing. We always look outside to find a solution. We have to look on the inside of us because we are responsible for our own lack of success and progress. It's on us. They doing what they're supposed to do. Hey, man, that pig put his knee on so-and-so neck. Yeah, he's supposed to blow his brains out. That's what they do. Those are our enemies. We're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. This fascist government is doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And we're not doing what we're supposed to be. They're only doing what we allow them to do. It's that simple. Who's stopping us from coming together and working together? Who's stopping us from pulling our resources together? Who's stopping us from doing that? We are. And then when this was a lot of actors say, well, man, Jim Crow, William Lynch, and all that, right? I said, okay, check this out. Use your science again. We had ancestors back in the late 1800s, early 1900s that built their own town. Control all the homes and businesses in their community. And William Lynch, the William Lynch syndrome, and Jim Crow was right there then. We 40, 50, 60 years removed from that. How are we using it as an excuse when our ancestors who built these towns didn't use it as an excuse? Many of them was ex-slaves. They was victims of Jim Crow, and yet they're still able to build their own town, own the businesses and homes in them communities. Why are they getting affected by that? We 56, 7 years removed saying we still being affected by that. Well, our ancestors were able to build that during that time with limited resources. We got more resources at our disposal. Come on, man. You serious? But in the thing, we always, that's what I mean by when you're playing checkers and you make that one move at a time without thinking, then you turn around and blame someone else or make excuses why you've been checkmated.
Man.
So you can't think for you. This is a thinking. When we deal with the struggle, this is a thinking process. This is a scientific, you always constantly think because the enemy is up all night thinking about how can I continue to press these Negroes? How can I continue to put my knee on their neck? They 30 years ahead right now. Okay, we got 2, 3 knees we can put on their neck. You know, and just like, and I always share this because when I was still in solitary confinement, an NAACP Negro was trying to tell me, you're wrong, Abdul. We've made progress. So I always use this physical illustration. I say, okay, check this out, bro. 100 years ago, we had 100 boots up our ass. Today, we have 80 boots up our ass. And you say that's progress. I don't want 80 boots in my ass. I don't want 1 boot in my ass. Right. I'll define freedom and progress when I remove every goddamn boot out of my ass. Then I'm going to say we free. Exactly. You run around here with 80 boots on your ass and you satisfied with that. And then 10 years from now, you got 79. You still satisfied with that. How's that progress? You still got a boot in your ass. But then he get upset, and he stopped communicating with me. So I said, well, he must got a boot in his mouth now.
Facts.
Cool,
Hey, I want to go to bring in our audience. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause we got a lot of people. I'm really excited to hear from you, comrade. Mr. Joe Gonzalez. Good evening, revolutionary comrades. All power to the people. Stay strong in the struggle. You too, brother Joe Gonzalez. I know when Joe Gonzalez in the house, they ain't ready to get started. Sister Madam President Sama Ott. We just got that. We got that. We was re-invited to that prison, so we'll be back for Black History Month. He said, "There's free the land, comrade. Got comrade Bo Money. How you doing, brother?" He said, "Hulu Sasa, freedom now." No doubt. This is Daryl Mack. Mack heard you last night on George Jackson Radio. Abdul, good interview. See, man, I got to go back and catch that because I wasn't able to catch the interview last night. I know you were doing your thing. Daryl Mack also in. How do we deal with the intra-communal violence called black on black violence or black on black crime? I'll leave it up to you. I'll let you answer that.
It goes back into science. Just like when I explained to one brother before, you cannot go to the gangs and say, stop being a gang member. They'll blow your brains out. You have to first understand again, what you call a gang is their family. Yeah. That's their family. So you tell them to stop being part of their family. You can't tell them that. Our position is, how can we transform this street organization to a revolutionary formation in the service of the people? How can we show them that there's other ways to make money other than selling drugs? We have to create those institutions. And I gave him an illustration one time when the brother said, well, okay, comrade, say you're dealing with a hardcore gang member and he ain't listening. I said, okay, he may not listen, but you can get around that. And that's why I explained. If you have a program in the community that serves mothers who don't have jobs, and let's say that hardcore gang member mama don't have a job, you provide her with a job then. Say the little sister can't come outside and play because of the violence, you provide a safe zone for her to play. Now, when that hardcore gang member see this, his values are going to change. He's going to realize, wait a minute, them brothers help my mama get a job so she can take care of herself. And my little sister have a safe spot to play in now. They're going to begin to value those institutions that we develop. Then they're going to begin to transform. So sometimes you don't go at them directly. You go to the side door, to the back door. You know what I'm saying? And you can reach them that way. So and I'm saying you have to create institutions. And it's how you approach. A lot of times we have these pigs plans, mass incarceration, snitched 911, all this old crap, right? And one thing I was telling one of the brothers, I said, just like in South Africa, when them fascist dogs killed millions of our people in South Africa, they had a reconciliation committee where they can reconcile. Why can't we have the same thing? Why always got to be by prison? Why can't we have our own reconciliation committee where these gang members come in and do what they have to do and let's move on forward and build? You see what I'm saying? They did in South Africa. You had some neo-Nazi racist dog shit. You know what I'm saying? Why can't we do with our brothers and sisters? So I'm saying there's a lot that can be done. There's not no one single answer, one single solution, right? Because what may be applicable in Los Angeles may not be applicable in New York because the conditions are different, right? But we have to have institutions. All that working with the pigs, working with the government, then they're going to end it. All that telling a young brother that is involved in one of these street organizations to get out, then they're going to stop. Is how can we transform that street organization to an organization that's going to serve and protect and defend our community? How can we transform that criminal mindset to a revolutionary mindset? That's where the focus is at. All this other plan they got, that came from the government. Marching down the street with Bill Horn, we're taking back our community. How you going to take back something that wasn't in yours? That don't make no damn sense. How you going to take back something? What you going to do? And again, but we're using their plans. That didn't come from us. That came from them. It's not go back again to science. It's not indigenous to the condition that exists in our community. We brought it from the outside, and that's why it don't work. We must create a plan that's concrete in our community, having a concrete understanding of the conditions in our community. All our solution must be concrete analysis of our conditions. And you can't bring in these foreign ideologies and concepts and ideals. Basically come from the pig and the government. They're not here to help us. If there was, we wouldn't be in the position we in now. We wouldn't have to fight.
Exactly.
You know? So they create conditions, perpetuate that internal shit. You know, and we do. You know, those not my enemies, those are my young brothers and sisters.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because one thing, we tend to demonize the gang, but the gang already had a structure right there set up. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, we don't need to get rid of it. We just need to transform it. And I know one thing that we would do is we would look at who's the leadership, and we would target the leadership, and we'll bring them in, and we have our own little thing, which I can't talk about. But you know what I'm saying? You know, it be serious, and they know it's serious, but they know it's from love too. You know what I'm saying? And we trying to get them. You know what I'm saying? And because like we basically transform the leadership mind and allow the leadership to transform the rest of. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the tactics. But I'm with you, especially on the institution, because you get any kind of revolution, you got to have the people on your side. If you don't have the people on your side, your revolution ain't going nowhere. And you can't have the people on your side if they are dependent on the damn colonizer for all of the damn needs in which they have to have to survive. You know what I'm saying? So it's like basically, you know, we up there talking this good black shit, this new African independent, blah, 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 blah. But when they get in trouble, they got to turn to the motherfuckers you talking about. Then basically, what the fuck they need us for? You know what I'm saying? Like they the one that's feeding us, they the one that's providing the medical attention for us, they the one that's doing all these things. So the reality is, damn, you know what I'm saying? We sound good, but sounding good don't mean shit when the shit hit the fan, you know?
Yeah. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't get, right? You have to show them what self-government look like now.
Exactly.
Not well, okay, if we have our nation, no, show me now. Because you can't show me now that what you talking about ain't gonna never happen. Show me what self-government look like right now. If my mother have a heart attack, who gonna come and get her? You or them? If I gotta take my sister or daughter to the hospital, who hospital I'm going to? If we need food, what food you gonna bring me? You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying, and what I'm saying, it can be done. We can control the resources in our community. We can buy it. It's just a matter of coming together and doing the right thing. It's on us, nobody else. There's no one stopping us from going to Michael Jordan coon ass and telling Michael Jordan, it's time for you to give back. No one stopping us from going to Oprah Winfrey coon ass and saying, Oprah, you got a car. You got a car. Hey, kick in. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, these are the things we have to do. There's ways we can do it. Check this out. And I spoke about this on the radio show the other night. You got brothers in Alabama going through it. So I gave one of the individuals, activists on the streets, an idea. And I talked to the brother on the inside about this idea. In Alabama, the state of Alabama, we already know the number one love is the Crimson Tide. We know this.
Yep, you saw right.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. So this is why I explained to him. Get big giant pictures of those who died inside the Alabama prison and take 20, 30 activists to the stadium, a home game, and stand there with them signs. You don't have to say nothing. The media is going to jump on it. This is what Alabama, this is what the Crimson Tide is about. You know, that propaganda would have went nationwide. It would have forced people to get involved and would have forced politicians to start scrambling up. Oh, we can't let this be exposed. Simple. Could have been done. They didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like just the ability to do critical thinking is something that is missing. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of goes over my head because I can't figure it out because I'm like it seemed like things that are like so simple, like what you said, it's so simple. And it's basically you see the problem. You know what I'm saying? And you see you looking at the contradictions, you analyzing it, and you see the areas where you can be effective in it, and you just fill those slots. It seemed really simple to me. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, like, you know, I know why I love talking to brothers like you, because like during the rest of the week, I'm talking to people who I'm like, okay, you see a square shaped hole in the wall. You see a square right here. Maybe the square goes in the hole in the square shape. We looking at the circle and trying to put the circle into the damn square. And I'm like, no, it'll keep on. I'm like, come on, y'all, damn, it ain't that complicated.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. And that goes with the, you know, even with those with within the nation, right? I mean, man, come on. This is 2023. We've been around since 1968. Are you serious? We don't have our own money resource. We can buy these institutions and build. The majority of our people still don't know who we are. Are you serious? And we going at each other internally.
Man,
and one thing, yeah, but see, here's the thing. One thing we lack is this: having an enforceable squad inside the nation. So when them lames stick their head up with that bullshit, and we don't have that. Because now motherfuckers do all they want to do. They disrespect the president, the vice president. They disrespect everything they want trying to build, and there's no consequences. And you ain't got enough men to stand up and say, wait a minute, we ain't gonna have this sexist crap here. You know what I'm saying? You didn't act like that when UNIAACL was there. You didn't act like that when other presidents was there, when they was males. Why are you acting like that now? Their ass might need to be called out. And they, yeah, that part, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but there's a lot, and we're doing this to ourselves. It's no, yeah, that part, just like I always use Hurricane Katrina over and over again because people don't get it. Over and over again. Prior to Hurricane Katrina, you had revolution on the ground talking about the government's full of shit, they bullshit. During Hurricane Katrina, they in the water asking for help. Wait a minute, you knew the government was bullshit before. Now, if you knew the government was bullshit, why you didn't prepare the people? You the revolutionary. You the first line responder. You is the first line responder. Why you didn't show me how to survive during a hurricane or a natural disaster? Why you didn't show me how to accumulate the necessary material I need so I can survive and me and my family can get the hell out of there? I depend on you as a revolutionary, not that government. You already told me the government's full of shit. So the government's full of shit, what that make you now?
Let me ask you a question, comrades. Because I know, like, you circulate this document material that talks a lot about survival, the things that we need. What's the name of that emergency? I can't. It's
the New African Community Emergency Response Network manual.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Speak on that. Let everybody be aware of that if you're not already aware of it.
And then again, I was in isolation then, right? Like I don't use my environment as no excuse, right? I was in solitary confinement at the time. 2005. And I'm looking at TV and I'm seeing this. I say, damn, you serious? So instead of crying and complaining about this government, which they did exactly what they supposed to have done, ignored our ass. What I did, I immediately went to work. I already had some understanding information about survival anyway. So I did my research. I had my supporters send me books in. So I got a couple books. I read and studied the books. And once I got the information out, I put together a manual real quick. I did that 30 days after Hurricane Katrina. And then I had to post it up, print up, and start sending them out, right? But again, being in solitary confinement, they confiscated everything I was writing, talking about gang related, right? So I had a lawyer at that time was willing to help me. So 2 years later, I got it to the street, But that's what motivated me when I seen that. And that's one thing I was trying to explain to people, that because you're in prison, you have no excuse. You're going to find a way. So soon I seen that. It's no different. I wrote another pamphlet about putting an end to global hunger among the Black diaspora, among our people, right? I was watching one of them feed the children infomercial, right? And they got this white dude, Larry Scott. Him and his wife, they go throughout and feed people and all that stuff, right? So it was a sister. She had a daughter that was 9, a son that was 7, and he was interviewing her, right? And they go in the house and look in the refrigerator. Ain't nothing really in there. A box of cereal in the cabinet. And one of my comrades, he was looking and said, damn, man. And he said, Abdul, you seen this? I said, nah, this is what I'm looking at. When they was outside with the camera, I'm looking at big ass yard space. I said, damn, why is she starving when she got the yard space to raise her own food? She had a big ass backyard where she could have had chickens for the eggs, collard greens, beans, fruits, is all right there. Part of her answer to a problem is right there in her own hand. And that's the thing I was trying, it's blowing my mind. So I here again. I seen that. I wrote a manual. One of the things that we do as New African Revolution Nationalists, we make no excuses. No, we're not out there, but that won't stop us from trying to help resolve those problems. So when I seen, like I said, when I seen Hurricane Katrina, I hear, but I really got the idea from what's the one that was in Florida. I really got the idea from the one that happened in Florida, Camellia, in like '99. I really got that idea, but because at that time I was communicating with Dr. Naeem Akbar at that time. He was teaching at the University of Florida then, Florida University, and I was communicating with him at the time. And we were speaking about the hurricane that hit Florida. And that's where I really got the idea from. And then it wasn't the Hurricane Katrina that I actually put it, because in '99 I didn't have all the information, or let's say I wasn't qualified to put such a pamphlet together then, because I lacked the information then. But when Hurricane Katrina came, I got books and everything. And I studied, and then I just put that together. And I also revised it 3 years ago, you know, and I'm gonna revise it again. Because there's other things that I've seen, part of survival, that I can put in there. So I'm gonna constantly upgrade it every time, you know. But again, also we have a PDF that is free. You don't have to go to Amazon and buy it. If you send us our email, we send you the emergency response pamphlet. Like Comrade Bomani, they got a physical structure in Columbus, Georgia, called the embassy. And one of the things they do, they use the pamphlet to train our people on how to survive any form of national disasters and crises. But Bomani and the comrades there, they have a physical structure called the embassy. And they're actually bringing people in from the community and training and teaching them how to survive through those different crises. So, you know, the comrade Bomani, they're doing the thing. You know, he's out there showing out right now.
Okay, that's what's up, comrade. Bomani, we see you. But yeah, no, I'm with you. And I love the way you think. You know what I'm saying? Because it's practical. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. It's like that's why I never taught my children about no Santa Claus or nothing like that, because I wanted them to be grounded into reality. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like anyway. And now I won't get in all that talk. But let me go back to some of the comments. Sama Madam President, that's right. Talk about Baba. You know, Uhuru Sasa, teach. Yes,
Uhuru.
Jorge Che Nuez, how you doing, Jorge? Che, how you doing? Power to the people. A few days left, and I'm going to Puerto Rico. We got positive energy to Che, because know from personally he dealing with family issues, with health problems with family members. So, you know, we give you positive energy, you know, on your journeys. Greetings, family, from Jorge, again, from Che. Hulu Sasa, because the love and loyalty was different. I don't know. A lot of times we be behind on these comments, and they be responding to things that we say.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, let's see. Sama Art, integration in many external distractions. Not sure what we were talking about during the time, but I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see. Che again. To struggle for our freedom makes us more human. Damn right. I mean, that's natural. I mean, people, the colonizer, the ones that's been exploiting us, understand that shit. That's why they develop laws in anticipation for the rebellion that they know coming. Because anyway you see oppression, you're gonna find the resistance to the oppression. The bigger the oppression, the bigger the resistance. So they preparing for that shit. You gotta prepare for
it. Yeah, and they whooping the dog shit out of us, man. They whooping the dog shit out of us, and we don't know that. I mean, it sounds good when you march them down the streets, run your mouth and all that little shit, but then you really look around the community. And I tell brothers and sisters, don't listen to me. Be honest with yourself and walk outside your front door and you tell me what you see. You really tell me what you see. If you're a true revolutionary, there's no way that cannot hit you in the heart of what we see in our community. Man. There's no way. And it's like this here too. I told, when I was growing up, even right to this day, man, if I'm walking down the street, there's no way in hell I can pass up a child. I don't give a damn who child is, and I see that they're suffering and pain. I'm not gonna bypass them, because as far as I'm concerned, that's my son, that's my daughter as well. And I use that example when I developed a Silent Alert Network, right? It was in response to the Amber Alert Network, right? Because they didn't give a damn about our people. We got close to 70-some, 80,000 missing women and children. and we ain't doing a damn thing about it, you know. But one of the things I used as an example was I was watching this program, and it was a young baby girl named Cupcake that came up missing, and they found her dead in a garbage disposal, right? But here go the thing. We seen what that bastard did, but we don't see what we've done. It was on the day of her birthday. Her and a little friend, they both like 5, 6 years old, playing outside. It's like 8 o'clock at night in front of their apartment complex. Where was the parental discretion, first of all? Where was the parental supervision, first of all? Right? The second thing I noticed, one brother walked right by them. When does it become normal for 2, 5, 6-year-old girls to be out at night playing in front of the apartment complex? There's no way I would have kept on walking. I would say, wait a minute, what you guys doing out here? Where your parents at? There's no way I would have walked. He walked by. Then the second clown that came by, he's the one that killing our little baby. You see what I'm saying? But the thing is, they always point at that. That's the end result of us being irresponsible. Because if there was parental supervision, they would never been outside, period. If there was a sense of fatherhood, brotherhood, community, that first brother would never walk by and let them 2 kids stay out there late at night. A lot of this stuff can be prevented if we take responsibility for ourselves and for each other. Can't get around that. You know what I'm saying? There's no way you can't. And another thing, the brothers be getting mad at me because I tell the brothers, check this out, man. You like football? He said, yeah, I like football. He said, every Sunday I sit in front of the TV and watch 3-4 hours of football. I said, wait a minute. And you mean to tell me you can't sit outside and watch them kids play for 15, 20 minutes? Watch football don't mean jack shit for 3-4 hours all day where you can't watch our kids out there play so they have some level of supervision out there so make sure nothing happened to them. You can't walk the elder to the store, to the church, or go help her out for 20, 30, 40 minutes. You can't contribute 30 minutes to the community or to the nation, but yeah, you can sit in front of a TV for 3-4 hours and just watch sports. Who you blame that on, man? NFL? Come on.
No.
You don't see this is what I'm saying. We don't take responsibility. Then you get some activists say, Abdul, you tripping. You sound like you blaming the victim. You goddamn right I'm blaming the victim. At some point in time, we have to take responsibility. What you think I was gonna bite my tongue? At some point in time, we have to take responsibility for our own freedom and liberation. Take responsibility for our own defense. If these pigs slap in my face right now and I walk away, that's on me.
Yep.
But you don't have to worry about that because I'm not gonna walk away. I'm gonna walk away and come back with something. So I'm just saying it's on us. The way they treat us, the way they treat our community, the way they treat our people, and our response will determine if they get away with it or not. I'm not talking about military stuff. You don't need to do military stuff to stop them. Just coming together and organized and sincere unity, that'd be strong enough because that would serve as a red button. Like Russia got a red button to keep America in check. America got a red button to keep Russia in check. Where's our red button? Unity, coming together as a people, pooling our resources together, cooperative economics, collective work responsibility, self-determination, umoja, that's our red button. Because they realize, man, we go in that community, we'll get our ass bombed up. Because that's a community that stick together, got their own resources, and they can hurt us economically. That's our red button.
Exactly. If there's no repercussions for exploiting us or doing whatever negative things to us, then the people gonna always do it. You know what I'm saying? That's with anything. If somebody come up through and slap the shit out of you and you just be like whatever and stuff like that, then there's a good chance somebody else gonna come behind and do the same thing because they know it ain't no repercussions. And you end up being a motherfucking emotional punching bag because they know, well, I'm pissed off, I'm frustrated, I can't take it out on this goddamn cop or whoever the fuck I want to take it out on, but I can take it out on you because you ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah, so, it's like okay. Every time I sit outside the door, the cops beating me up, right? And I said, okay, wait, the first blind man I see in a wheelchair. Yeah, goddamn, the cop hitting on me. I'm gonna jump on him. What is that? I'm gonna jump on a blind crippled man instead of jump on the pig that you have a right to defend yourself against. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it's on. But you know what I trip on? We so brave when it comes to killing one another. We're so brave. Just like this is like about 30 years ago, right? A brother, he seen me, right? And at that time, I weighed about like 175. He said, hey, you Abdul? Because he expecting for some reason to see some big, man, I knock you out, Abdul. I say, that's true. You may knock me out. What you think I'm going to do when it's over with? That's the difference. No matter yet, no, check this out. This is what we do. I'll give you a knife. I got a knife. Let's go get that pig then.
Mm.
That's what I'll do. Let's go get him. Oh man, you tripping. I said, wait a minute. You was quick to knock me out. And if that's gonna give you your manhood, let's go get the real enemy. And let's get real with this. Oh man, you tripping. I said, yeah, man, go to hell, dude. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying we put on these little fucking acts, man. You don't need to be hard. You see what I'm saying? Anybody can be hard. That don't take nothing. You know, we have to show the love that we have for our people, and that love should be manifested through our service to the people, you know, if we're sincere. It's no different if you got a chaos agent who's always trying to create chaos instead of trying to adhere to the program. You don't love your people, because if you did, you wouldn't be creating all that chaos.
Man, exactly, comrade.
It's no different. When you talk about you part of a nation, and we got a constitution, we have bylaws and guidelines, we have requirements for you to do this and do that, but you don't go to class. You don't go to PE. You don't do these things. But yeah, I'm a citizen. You ain't no citizen, monkey. Because you pledge allegiance to what flag? You studying what constitution? You see what I'm saying? How can you pledge to something that you have no knowledge of? Because you serious about this, you're going to go to the class and learn. If you're serious about this, you're going to do your homework and study. If you're serious about this, just like you went to school and learned about America, you know more about George Washington than you know about George Jackson.
Yep.
Why is it any different? And we don't have no respect for what we do. But we'll do all that, jump through the hoops and stuff to learn more about them. But then when it's time for us to learn and study what we need to learn to build this nation, I'm busy, man. I gotta go. I'm playing horseshoe right now. You serious? You can't pick up a goddamn. When the last time you read the Constitution, fool? So I'm just saying, you know, it's on us. It's strictly on us. You know, they're gonna do what they do. That's why I don't trip. Man, they're gonna continue to do what they do. Abuse, kill, oppress, exploit. They're gonna continue to do that until we do something.
Yep. Man, one thing I gotta give Madam President Sama'ad and Mama Ayo big props on. One of the things, first thing they implement was a policy of work, train, and study. Every citizen got to go through this process. You can't just say I'm a citizen and just because you like what you hearing, you got to actually understand what you fighting for. Because I mean, the thing about it is, if you don't know what you fighting for, then damn, you know, you can get caught up in the emotionalism of the situation because it sounds good. We're mad at the pig and we're talking about them, and you're like, yeah, I'm frustrated, fuck them and all that. But man, if you don't understand what you fighting for, what's up?
I say that because of that. I knew that, you know.
Yeah.
I talked to them. So I say that just for that. You know, for those who are watching, your ass is wrong. Understand me? It's correction gonna come. So you know, you do everything you can do and contradict what we're trying to build. You can do if you want to, as far as you think you can get away with it, you know. And they do what they do because they feel that there's no enforcement around. Because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not around. We don't strike when you want us to strike, but you keep on doing what you're doing. You dialing the numbers, you dialing the right numbers to get them up there, you know, because you should be supporting the president and vice president 100% with your life.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And if they're doing something wrong, you bring to the attention, if you believe they're doing something wrong. You bring it to the table and talk and discuss about it. But if they're trying to build this nation, you should be behind them 100%. You know, some of these clowns that call themselves New African citizens support this government more than they support our own government. You abide by their laws and rules every day, but you ignore our rules and laws. But you say you're a citizen of the Republic of New Africa. No, you ain't. You're a citizen of the American Republic. You ain't no citizen of the New African Republic. You following their laws. You ain't gonna follow. Why you don't follow our laws? Why you don't follow our rules, our protocols? You say you're a citizen, but you following their laws. Come on, man.
Yep. I mean, one thing I'll say, like when I went to this past Nation Day, and it was a positive experience. So I'm not trying to share anything negative on it, but you know, I talked to a lot of people, and it's just the ideology was kind of all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember specifically, like with Mama Ayo and with Sama and other comrades, we all was in class for years together. Years. You know what I'm saying? Drilling ideology, studying revolutionary nationalist, Pan-African, being a freedom fighter, and all of these things, type of things. You know what I'm saying? Drill, you know? So it was like, when I was introduced to other comrades and they didn't, understand basic, ideology, it confused me. I'm like, hold on, I'm going back to my teacher. I'll be like, they ain't doing the same thing we doing. I thought everybody was doing this. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you were exactly right. And something I think this should be implemented in any class you take. How to receive and how to give constructive criticism and self-criticism, because that will build your organization up, that will build you up, that will help us correct ideas that we have that are incorrect. You know what I'm saying? Because like one thing I appreciate you did, when you was talking about when you was writing a emergency action plan, you was like, oh no, well, you said something, you were doing something, and you said later on you looked and you realized you was wrong. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's a high sign of intelligence, to realize, okay, I don't know everything I need to know, therefore I can grow some more. You know what I'm saying? Like an intelligent person knows that there is so much for me to know. It's only the stupid motherfuckers who already know everything. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, just like the book New African Criminalizing 101, right? Criminalizing 101 from a New African perspective, how America criminalized a race, right? I wrote that back in '93. In fact, a professor, Dorothy Farden at Bowie State University, using my textbook for 10 years, right? But I knew I can do more. I can do better than that, right? Like my comrade, he's also my cellie, right? We in the whole we rewrote it because I knew he was more qualified to take it to another level. You see what I'm saying? So when we got together, I wrote 5 of my books. We did together all over again. Because I knew once I got around him, he would take all my books to another level because he's more advanced in understanding what I'm trying to do, right? So we did a poetry book together. We did a blueprint together. We did a Concrete Scholars together. We did New African Criminalizing 1 together. We did all these things together, right? And just like the indictment, I came up with the concept of indicting the prison industrial slave complex. I came up with the concept, right? And I tried to write it out, right? But it didn't look good. But I knew my comrade Ashima, right? He's my son right now. He's asleep. I knew he can do it. So when we got together back in 2014, hey man, when you read and look at it, it looked like a righteous indictment. They the one are being indicted. He got, but I knew he was capable of doing that. I wasn't capable of doing it, even though I developed the concept. I didn't know how to articulate it and structure it. He did, and he showed his ass off. But again, you have, when you remove your ego, you're going to see it clear and straight, and you realize it's not even about you. It's not even about you, and when you look at it like that, humble yourself, man. I accept criticism. If it don't apply, let me determine that myself. I'm not going to, what the hell you talking about? I'm going to take it and say, okay, is he right? Let me see. I'm going to analyze my actions and deeds based on what he said. And I can say, damn, he was right. Damn, okay, let me correct that. You don't have enough people in the struggle that's politically mature. They don't have political maturity to accept constructive criticism. They take it personal because they got their personality out there. They got their ego out there. And they take the attack like, oh, man, you're attacking me. I'm not attacking you, man. I didn't say nothing about you. I'm saying we can increase all these programs. We can enhance these programs and make them better in the service of our people. That's all I'm saying. You ain't got all the answers there. 20 eyes is better than 2, man. So you got 20 eyes focused on something, and you got your 2 eyes. Your 2 eyes, come on, you ain't gonna see everything. You need 20 eyes, 30 eyes. They can say, hey man, I was looking at this here, and I think you add this here, but that clown said, man, shut up. I know it's right. And that's the type of clowns we got in the community, and that's why we're in the position we're in now. They refuse to be humble, and understand it's not about you. It's not about no titles. It's about serving and liberating our people. That simple.
Definitely. We're gonna go to some more of these comments. I see Strong Light. I think this is my first time seeing you, Strong Light, on the broadcast. Welcome to the broadcast, Strong Light. Free the land, comrade brothers. I see you. Just jumped on to send my revolutionary love and respect. I am, I will. Okay, you're doing the Memphis response. All right, well. Huru Sasa says Ashe and colonized mind. Brother Che, the Young Lords Party was once a gang also, but in the process of concrete analysis by some comrades brought about a new organization that became revolutionary. Damn right. Damn right. Yeah. Perfect example. Perfect example. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See.
Hold on.
Okay. I'm gonna read this while you gone.
I'm all right.
Let me see.
I'm all right. I just opened my door for a minute. That's all.
Oh, okay, all right. Let's see. Confidence.
Yeah.
Was it
they try to bust me out for day room. That's all. Who's that?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's Confident Chizero OKK. I think I said that right. I don't know. I might have messed it up. Let me see. Salute from Igbo land in Florida. Taking notes. Show what self-government looks like now. Hospitals, foods, block to block, village to village. All right, that's what's up. Because we gotta have our own independent institutions. We got to.
Yeah.
It's something I always say. Anytime you find yourself in a situation where your economic system, political system, social system, educational systems, all of the systems that govern your life are controlled by the same motherfuckers that benefit from your exploitation, it's gonna be damn near impossible for you to solve your problem. So that's where you gotta start. You see what the problem is. You know what you gotta do to solve it.
Yeah, and then the other thing, when people think they're gonna give you the solution to the problem, we're gonna give you this gun so you can blow our brains out. No, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna give you an empty gun, give you this impression that you're free. And check this out. You have a lot of people that operate in these little boxes and think they're free. They don't realize they're being controlled and dictated. You can go vote. Now, show me when we have voted and have liberated ourselves. You show me what improvement have been made in our community because you voted for this Negro like Obama. And I try to explain to people, Obama is a face that they put in office.
Exactly.
It's an institution that runs this country, not no single individual. He's just a face. It don't matter who you vote for, because they're gonna submit and succumb to the institution. You don't want nothing, fool. And a lot of these Negroes know that. Yeah, vote for me. I'm gonna go make a difference. And soon you vote for them, nothing changed. The only thing changed is that address. Yeah. They went from middle class to upper class. And then they go like this here. We win.
No, I always tell people it ain't about the individual, it's about the system. You know what I'm saying? Because the system it's just like if you got a good team, they got a good football system. It's like you can lose the players and they get new players and they still operate the same way because the system was set up to do exactly what it's doing. And in America, the system is designed to do to exploit the people. You know what I'm saying? On behalf of the ruling elite. And that's what it's doing. So it ain't no such thing as reforming the system, changing the system. If you change it, it's just gonna be more efficient at exploiting us. You know what I'm saying? That's what the system is designed to do.
And reform is an extension of fascism. It don't change nothing. It gives you this false impression, just like these neo-colonialists, right? The neo-colonialists give you a false impression that we're free. Vote for me. You know what I'm saying? But all you're doing is perpetuating the same thing but they put a black face on it, so they can throw us off. You know, just like I was like when you deal with Vietnam, right? I was dealing with a sister, and she knew that I was criticizing issues concerning Vietnam, and she said, "Well, my daddy went to Vietnam. He died in Vietnam." I said, "Yeah, he died for the wrong reason, because that's your daddy doesn't make that war right. Understand something." So I explained to her briefly. I said, "Check this out, sis. The French invaded Vietnam by like 1883. They killed and raped millions of the Vietnamese people. By 1940, Japan invaded during World War II and took it over for 5 years, and they did the same thing. You had the Chinese, you had the Vietnamese Communist Party, Ho Chi and them, fighting against this oppression. When the war was over with, French took back control again. Before they left, they put in a dummy government in 1954, the South Vietnamese government. But in 1955, the United Nations said, wait a minute, that's not a democratic elected government. You guys got to go through the election process. When they went through the election process, they realized Ho Chi Minh was going to win. That's when the United States said, wait, hold up. Wait a minute, this is a democratic elected government coming. That's when the United States went, oh, hell no. Because see, people don't realize that. United States was fighting on. They replaced the other imperialist colonists.
Yep.
That's all they did. You know what I'm saying? And they was fighting to preserve that. They was wrong for going to Vietnam. Just like Iraq. From 79 to 89, Iraq was in your control. From 79 to 89, Iraq did everything that you falsely accused them of in the 90s. In 82, 81, they built nuclear facilities. You refused to blow them up. Israel had to come all the way from Jerusalem and bomb them facilities because you refused to use them up. In 79 and 80, they used their weapons of mass destruction against Iranian soldiers. Nothing was said about that. In 89, they killed all them Kurds. Dropped chemical weapons on them. Nothing was said about that. But now, when they stop being your puppet, all of a sudden they're the tyrant. They did everything you say, just like when Hussein came into power. That was televised. When Hussein took over, everyone that protested against him in 79, they took out right in front of the spot and blew the brains out. You knew this. He was working for the CIA. Nobody said nothing. So it was really about democracy and justice. You should have took his ass out in 79 then. He was doing all your dirty work up to 89, but then when he said "fuck you," now all of a sudden, oh, he's a tyrant, or he's no longer your tyrant now. And if you study, this is what I mean by using time. If you study every one of them wars, just like World War II, the United States they gave Hitler the blessings. Oh, that's not nothing to do there. But see, people don't want to do all that. They're not trying to seek the truth. You know, if you study all these wars and conflicts, United States dirty ass hands is involved directly about proxy. Just like when, now check this out. I said, let's look at Cuba, right? How the hell you on my property? You got a military base and a concentration camp on my property, and you call me a tyrant? United States got a military base on Cuba's property in their country and their concentration camp. And what you saying? You put this, you got a military base in my country. Are you serious? But most people in this country, especially white folks, don't see that.
No, they don't.
You know that's another country. That's not United States. How do you establish a military base in your enemy country? And then soon Cuba do something, oh, it's a terrorist act. But yet you got your military base in their country, and that's your so-called enemy. Man.
Yes, man. Hey, Comrade, how often do you be going live?
I sneak in, sneak out almost, you know. I'm there. You know, and sometimes, you know what chicks I come with? Sometimes it's just something that comes to my mind.
I got you. I
can be reading something, or I can be looking at something. I say, damn, I gotta go do it live, you know. So it's not a lot of times it's not even planned, comrade. I see something, or I hear somebody say something. I say, let me go and speak on this again, right? Because someone can say, well, I know one brother, he's from one of these Panther groups talking about we don't need science.
For real?
Damn, okay. Yeah. But again, he's one of them brothers that he placed himself in that position, and he was just so happened to be the most qualified one in that position. But he had yet to go through any type of ideological training or political training, because if he did, he realized you can't take science out of nothing. When you talk about putting theories into practice, that's a scientific process. Can't get around it, because the theory can be replaced with experimentation. You put this theory out there to experience, see what happened, analyze the results, come back to the table, enhance it, assess the strengths and weaknesses, put it back out there again. That is the experiment. That is the basic understanding of science. So basic scientific. That's it. Yeah. So the brothers say, man, so no, this is what I told him. I said, check that, brother. First of all, I'm not gonna debate with no numbnut. And he said, numbnut? What you call me numbnut for? What's a numbnut? I said, when a person got a size, his brains is the size of a nut and is numb by his stupidity. I ain't gonna get with that, bro. I ain't got no time with that, man. Why would I do that? I'm not gonna debate with a person that George Jackson with a slap. Ain't gonna happen.
Gotcha.
Now, if you got something that, when you got something that's that concrete, it's science and everything. And I explained to a person, when you see a rock, there's a scientific process in that rock. How you say that? That rock is a direct result of some type of form of natural cataclysm.
Exactly.
Earthquakes, big bangs, whatever. It came through a process to form. It went through a process to become a rock. That cataclysm is a scientific process. You can't get around it. It has a beginning. And even when you look at that rock on the ground, it's not over with yet. Because the more that happens on the planet, it's going to affect that rock. And, you know, it's like, but you can't give up, man. You got to keep on fighting. You know, you can't get frustrated and say, man, fuck it. You can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, reason why I asked, you know, how often you go live, you know what I'm saying? I kind of, you know, we got this novel thing, and it's a collectivity of people with like minds who trying to, you know, educate the masses. And I was just wondering, man, what you want to join our network? You know, you have your own show or whatever.
Yeah, see, and I ain't got no problem doing that, right? But see, you see why I keep doing this, huh?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Comrade.Rogbakor got a better environment than I got. You see what I'm saying? I got to keep my head on a swivel, and then at times I had to duck, had to tuck, come back up, hit and run. You know, I have no problem doing that, but it won't be like consistent, right?
Understood.
You know, just like we got a radio show, but I don't be on it all the time. I pop up, and you know, when Bomani say, we want you on the radio show today, right? I said, let me check first. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll pop up and I'll leave. You know, like where I'm at right now is a camera on this side of the wall.
Okay.
And the gun tower is right here in front of my door.
Damn.
So when I look up right now, I'm looking at the gun tower. See, California is one of the few prisons got gun towers inside the building. So I'm looking at the gunman right there. And I got a window block right here, but if I didn't have a window block, a camera's right there. Yeah, California is one of the few prisons that put guns inside the building.
Damn, I mean, that's my first time hearing it. Damn.
Yeah. Now, and then on the walls, they got warning, no warning shots on the wall.
Damn.
They don't give no warning shots inside the building. They give no warning shots on the building. Go ahead.
Damn. Okay. All right. Well, hey. Dang. I learned something today. Well, I learned a lot today. I always learn a lot to you, comrade. But yeah, that's oppressive than a motherfucker. Gun tower inside. Okay. So yeah. Well, you know, whatever is, I'm gonna try to figure out a way that
You see that, comrade? You see that up there?
Yeah. Yep.
That's the gun tower.
Damn.
Just right there.
Oh, see everybody, you know what I'm saying? We be doing it real for real on Conversation Between Comrades. It is not a joke. It is not a joke. But yeah, man, I mean, we approaching an hour and a half, and I ain't gonna keep you too long on here. You don't drop the wealth of knowledge. One thing I like doing is I like to revisit all the shows, and this one I'm gonna revisit with a notepad. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be a lot smarter after I finish looking at this show, comrade. I appreciate everything you do. Before we get out of here, man.
Okay, and the reason why I trip on you too, right? Because we damn it sound alike. We don't use all them big words, intellectual shit like that, right? And people can relate to us better because they don't get the impression that we're trying to talk over them. Yeah, I can say, damn, even though he may curse and all that, I can relate to that because he's talking to me. And a lot of times when people in the struggle talk, they ain't doing it intentionally, but it look like they're talking above them. Yeah. And the people in my don't hear that shit, you know. When you just, I can get with that, you know. And I can relate to that as well, you know. Instead of somebody coming over here sounding like a dictionary.
No, you're right. I
ain't nothing wrong with that, man. I'm not saying ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, you got to know who you're speaking to. And model your language after the audience that you're targeting. Yeah. Because sometimes you try to speak to a certain level, you speak in Japanese, and they don't understand nothing you're saying.
Yeah, and you are correct because I noticed, you know, dealing with people, a lot of people, a lot of things, you know, especially we coming from a new African independence of perspective, and that concept and idea is above a lot of people's head because we've been trained and conditioned that we love, man, bro, comrade. I spoke at a college, And man, this shit broke my heart, man. It broke my heart. I'm talking about land independence, about all these independent townships we had in the past, and we done it then, we can do it now, and all of this stuff. And these students came back with me with but we need white people. We need who's going. I'm like, man, what we need white people for? We need them to lock us up and shoot us down. And what the hell do we need these? Man, comrade, it broke my heart, comrade. I'm like, these college students, no.
Yeah, hey, and you know, and that's why I said the primary battle is over the minds and hearts of our people.
It is.
That's the primary battle. We got to break the chains of psychological slavery. That's our primary battle right now. That's what's stopping us right now. So we have to break them chains from the minds of our people.
Definitely.
So this is good enough, my brother. I'm gonna probably have to tuck in a minute.
So yeah, what's that now?
As I'm probably have to tuck in a minute, you know.
Oh yeah, no, we finna go and wrap it up now. I'm finna say, man, first of all, thank everybody for y'all your comments. I know I ain't get to all of them, but you know what I'm saying, I get educated by the comments also. So thank y'all for doing y'all thing.
Especially Comrade Freedom. Especially Freedom. Freedom educated brother real quick.
Yeah, I know. Freedom power.
Yeah, that's a comrade there, man.
Yeah, man. I love when Comrade Freedom Power on the show, man.
Yeah.
He always put them perspectives out there, and I'm like, man. One thing that I think we have to learn how to do. We have to learn that just because we might disagree on something, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Disagreement, that ideological struggle, that's how we grow. You know what I'm saying? Because you see imperfections in my analysis. I see some in yours, and eventually the best ideas are gonna win out. That's why, man, when somebody correct me or something, I'm like, okay, and tell me something I don't know, I get excited, comrade, because I know I'm about to be a whole lot smarter now. You know,
that's how you grow. That's how you grow.
Exactly.
Study to know to teach to build to win.
Exactly, comrade.
You know?
Comrade. Well, man, we finna go and get up out of here. You got any final words to the audience you wanna leave them with?
Can't stop, won't stop. You know, we gotta take that, because I'm saying this. The reason I say this is this here, right? Oftentimes we speak to the choir. We speak to people that think like us already.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, when you're speaking to people that don't think like you and not on your level, then you tell them not to give up. We're going to win. Don't trip on what you see right now. We're going to do our part. What we're doing, we're just creating a blueprint for the future generations. It's not going to happen in our time anyway. It's not going to happen in our time, but you got to give them something to work with.
Exactly.
Just focus on giving them something to work with, and we'll get there. Maybe 100 years from now, but we're going to get there. Just do your part.
Perfect. So yeah, man. So say your name again.
Abdul-Olugbala Shakur.
Okay, brother, we made
all the mother name is just, you know what I'm talking about.
I got you. This is actually my first time. Well, I guess I have seen that name on other things you posted. So yeah. Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. Come back anytime. Like anytime. You know what I'm saying? You call me up and hey man, let's go on.
Yeah, he's sick, man. Oh, he's sick? No, he's sick and sleep. Okay, my bad. All right, bro. All right, comrade. All right. Now, what you say?
No, I was just saying, come back anytime, man. And I'm gonna try to. I've been saying I'm gonna do this for the longest. I've been having some technical difficulties because my main computer down, and I just got my phone to operate. But I've been trying to get some of your lives and put them in a collection and just broadcast them out. You know what I'm saying? So we can have it for our audience too, because you be having so many profound analysis on what you do, and I appreciate that, man. So, man, continue to do what you do, continue to uplift, continue to educate, and man, continue to analyze things, because I think one of the most important things you do is you recognize a problem and then you come up with a solution for it, because the reason why you identify a problem is to come up with a solution. We got a lot of our people who love to talk about the problem. We can articulate the problem beautifully, but them solutions, go out and vote or some stupid shit like that. Oh, you know.
You know what I'm saying. You think you're on the motion? Yeah, you right.
I mean, I don't hear. I'll be like, damn, you bro, yeah, you actually own it. You own it. The only way you can change it is go out of it. I'm like, oh man, come on, bro.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, man, anytime I get the chance to, I'm gonna pop up,
Okay. Dig that.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta see these brothers, man.
All right, brother. Well, man, you keep it, you hang, you be strong, comrade. Free land to you.
Blood in, blood out,
Yes, sir. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Love, Gorilla love. All right, comrade.
Yes, sir. We out.
And when you bring it in, you brought it in for the purpose of weakening the revolutionary tide of the people.
It must not be a capitalist system, though. We don't want to exploit anybody. We don't want to be exploited, and we don't want to exploit anybody.
Ain't nobody gonna do it for us. It's nobody outside of yourself, nobody outside of ourselves that's going to do this work for us. We have to put in that real work.
Because the better you are at exploiting people, the more successful you are within capitalism.
We want to say salute to all our political prisoners, our POWs, our elder comrades in exile.
The satisfaction we need as a people only comes through liberation and independence.
Because we're not just building for self, we're building for the family, because the family is broken. We're building for the community is broken. The nation is broken, the race is under attack. We're in a state of emergency.